the stand. Now he runs. He produces a magic print. He pulls out another one. This is incredible. This is ridiculous. This is 15 out of 10 on the incredible meter. What a player. What an entertainer. Give him the medal. Give him the Dally M medal.
Hello, footy fans, and welcome back to the Chip and Chase podcast. We're back, as we know, Sunday's arrived, so we're here to do our Sunday games previews. Going to try and start doing these ones a little bit quicker. I think I'm struggling a bit with time management, so these ones that end up being around 20 to 30 minutes, I'm going to try and cut them down to maybe, 15 minutes on a good day, hopefully trying to spend, 5 minutes a game. So the Sunday previews, hopefully we'll get around to that 10-minute mark. So we'll get straight into it with our first Sunday game, that of course being the Wests Tigers taking on the St George Illawarra Dragons, 4:05 p.m, Campbelltown Sports Stadium, Sydney. Tigers currently sitting in 11th, Dragons in 15th. So a clash of two teams in the in the lower half of the ladder, but both have been showing some promising fixtures, promising results as of late. Of course, both coming off losses last week. However, for the Tigers, in terms of their ins and outs for their team, what have we got here? No. That is right. Jake Simpkin, Asu Kapoa, and Justin Matamua come into the side for them in the places of John Bateman, Latu Fainu, and Samuela Fainu. So those are the only changes. That does mean that Alex Seyfarth does start at second row in this one for Bateman. And yeah, as I said, those three players come onto the bench. For the Dragons, they've got a few ins and outs. Luciano Leilua has been a late out with a calf strain, I believe it is. So he's replaced by Raymond Faitala Mariner in the second row, and Ben Murdoch-Masila joins the bench. The only other change for them is that Harm Saleh comes into the side to start at front row with, I believe it was Michael Molo dropping out. So those are all the changes for these two sides. Relatively full strength, Tigers a few players out, I suppose. They're still without young Lockie Galvin, so that's a massive out for them. But, they've definitely got a strong enough side to get results in this one. In saying that, in terms of how I see it playing out, I've tipped the Dragons. Look, I don't know, maybe it's my early season infatuation with them that still has me believing in them a bit more than I should. Maybe I've got a few more tickets invested. But I do just think that they can get away with the win in this one. They were pretty poor against the Knights last week, albeit in torrential conditions. But once again, I'm going to back their forward pack to get the job done. I do think it's going to be a hard task. The Tigers forward pack has been incredible as of late. Stefano Utoikamanu and Fanua Pole in particular have been incredible, and they've been standing up to any pack put in front of them. But I just do believe in this Dragons team. I think their bench is a bit stronger. Blake Laurie, if he can get back to his good form, and Jack DeBellin coming off the bench is good punch, as opposed to Alex Twal, who is fantastic. But as I've said for a number of years, really, he should be starting because he just brings the consistency that they need. But I do think the Dragons can get away with a victory in this one, so they are who I've tipped. In terms of my favourite matchup for this game, who have we got? I'm very surprised Jack Bird has actually been named. I thought he was going to be out for maybe even the season after his knee injury last week, but awesome to see him straight back into the side. Look, I'm actually going to lock in the duel between Isaiah Papali'i and Jaden Sewer. I think both of these forwards have been in really good form and a bit flying under the radars a bit in terms of the season and in terms of their clubs. But I think they could both sniff out maybe a try in this one. I don't know if they'll actually mark up against each other. Sewer's been the right as of recent, and so has Papali'i. So they probably won't match up against each other, but I'm still going to name them as my matchup of the game in this one. So that is Jaden Sewer, Isaiah Papali'i. Let's go straight into my bets. As I said, we're going to try and fly through these a bit quicker. I don't need to ramble on. You guys can formulate your own opinions when it comes to all of this sort of stuff. In the end, I spend a lot of time on my review podcast where I talk about everything in a lot more depth anyway. So these ones can be a little bit quicker. But in terms of my multi for this game, the first leg, I do have St George Illawarra Dragons as the head-to-head winners. I think they're outsiders at about $2 when I place this bet. So not hefty outsiders. It is expected to be a close game, which is what I expect personally as well. But I do like the value in that in general. The second leg, I've got Charlie Staines as an anytime try scorer. Hasn't scored a try this season to my knowledge. I'm pretty sure Staines hasn't scored a try yet. I think he could cross in this one. And in saying that, the other man in my bet, I've got Michaeli Ravalawa as an anytime try scorer, who I also believe has not scored a try this season. I want them to both open their accounts in this game. And if they do, then my bet could potentially get up if the Dragons can also get away with the win. So the odds of that come to $8.25, not the most out there multi. So that means if you're putting $1 on that, you're winning $8.25 back if all three of your legs get up. Once again, I'll say it every week, every episode, that all of my betting is done through Sportsbet. I'm not affiliated with Sportsbet in any way. They are just the agency that I choose to bet with. If you're looking to follow along with any of the tips that I do, any of the bets that I do it through Sportsbet, because a lot of other agencies may not have the markets available. And even if they do, the odds may be completely different. So if you are wanting to just ride along exact same as me, do it through Sportsbet. But once again, please make sure that we're gambling responsibly. You win some, but you lose more. So only bet what you can afford to lose, guys. And yes, just a bit of fun. So that one will conclude us for the Tigers and Dragons preview, which means we'll get into our late Sunday game. I say late, 6:15 p.m, not that late, but we do have the Canberra Raiders taking on the Gold Coast Titans in GIO Stadium, Canberra. So as you can guess, it's probably a Canberra Raiders home game. But Raiders, they're currently sitting in 7th, coming off that massive win over the Eagles last week as well. Titans down in 16th. The only team who still have not found a win in 2024. Only the Rabbitohs are below them, simply just because of for and against, and the Titans had a bye, which gave them the 2 points anyway. But in terms of this one, we'll start with the ins and outs. Now, for the Raiders, there's a few big ones. Of course, Chevy Stewart being the one of note. He comes in to make his NRL debut in the fullback role with Jordan Rapana out. He's expected to miss about 6 to 8 weeks from what I'm hearing, is Jordan Rapana. So it could be an extended stint for Chevy Stewart in that fullback role if he can, really find his feet and play really well. So good luck to Chevy. Congratulations to him. Hope he absolutely kills it. Beyond that, for the Raiders, they do have Trey Mooney coming into the side, which is a bit different, and Zach Hosking also returns at the expense of Corey Horsburgh. So, also, I am hearing, it's not listed here at the moment, but I'm hearing pretty heavy whispers that Ethan Strange will be a late out with this one. KO Weeks is currently listed as their 18th man, so I would presume he will come in and start at 5/8 for Ethan Strange if that scratching is to be the case. But one to keep an eye on there, guys. Just want to keep that one out there in terms of your tips, in terms of your multis, your super coach, whatever you're doing. I'd expect Ethan Strange, put it this way, I think it's more likely than not that Ethan Strange will not play in this game. For the Titans, however, now, there are also some late changes going on here. AJ Brimson has been moved from the centres into the 5/8 jersey. Alofiana Khan-Pereira comes onto the wing, and Harley Smith-Shields moves from the wing into the centres to replace Brimson. Kieran Foran moves from 5/8 to halfback, and Tanner Boyd is dropped. Look, with the utmost respect, I think this is the best thing for the Titans. I'm a massive Tanner Boyd fan. I think last year he was fantastic, and I've always liked him sort of coming through those juniors. I still think he has a future in our league for sure. Do I think he's the scapegoat for their team? Not necessarily. I do think he's been poor, but also the entire Titans team has been poor. Dropping him, I think it's more so how Brimson played when he got that shot in the halves last week, and he really opened up their attack. I'm pretty sure they scored all 22 of their points while Brimson was in the halves. So I think that's just the move that they have to make, and they've done that here with Brimson moving to 5/8, Harley Smith-Shields into the centres, Alofiana Khan-Pereira onto the wing. In saying that, I don't think Lofi has been very good this season as well. So maybe it's unlucky for Tanner, but it's just, I think it's the best fit for their team. Kieran Foran at halfback, as we said. The other one is that Isaac Liu comes back into this side for Joe Stimson as well. So those are the, important to note, by the way, Tony Francis has actually been left as the 18th man for them. So he could, if there are a few HIAs or injuries due to foul play, Tony Francis could come in to make his NRL debut. He's a player we highlighted, particularly for our super coach, but in the preseason chats, we talked a bit about Tony Francis. Very Greg Marju type. Big, solid winger, really hard to stop. It'd be great if he can get his debut. I really like him as a player. So, yeah, potential there. But, big shout-out to Tony Francis if he does debut. But regardless, that is how the Titans team lines up. I have tipped the Raiders. I think the Raiders are showing some really good form this year. Yeah, they've got a couple outs in the terms of Horsburgh and Rapana, but they're so good. Their depth, they can just bring players up, and it's just like for like, or maybe even better, depending on how Chevy can settle into first grade. And Trey Mooney has been absolutely killing it in reserve grade so far this year. So I really like them to get away with this win, even if Ethan Strange is ruled out. Hopefully KO Weeks can come in and play really well as well. So I am confident in my Raiders bet, in my Raiders tip, I should say, especially because it's in Canberra, while the Titans haven't been showing much. But this could be the game that the Titans get on the board. Look, they've got their backs to the wall. They're playing really poorly. They need to make a statement at some point. I think this move of AJ Brimson into the halves could be exactly what they need. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But now I am really excited to, I won't be able to watch this one live. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to finish up work and then come back and rewatch this one. Hopefully avoid all spoilers. But obviously I'll watch this one so we can get a accurate review for my Monday reviews. But yeah, really excited to sort of watch this game back and see how it all plays out. I hope the Titans can get away with it. Respectfully that's nothing against the Raiders. Obviously I've tipped the Raiders. I'd like them to win in that aspect, but I also want a close competition. I like the Titans. I hope they can get away with a win. I hope they can just at least play some expansive footy and be really competitive in this game. But I do see the Raiders, based on what we know, based on their forward pack, based on everything so far, I think the Raiders win. Maybe not win well, but they very much could. So we will move into our matchups in this one. Look, it's Ethan. It's easy to say Ethan Strange and AJ Brimson if Ethan Strange is to play. I personally like Xavier Savage and Alofiana Khan-Pereira. I'm not sure if they will be lining up on the exact same side. I believe Loffy has been a left winger so far this season. He has. So it could be Xavier Savage and Jojo Fafita, which I don't mind as a matchup anyway. The reason I've gone with Savage and Loffy is just because they're the absolute speedsters. They are two of the quickest players in our comp. In fairness, Jojo Fafita, he's a rapid too, not far off them. But I'd love to see a Savage and Loffy foot race at some point in this game. Beyond that, I'd love to see the matchup between Chevy Stewart in his debut against Jaden Campbell, who's been one of the only shining lights for the Titans this season. But those are the ones that I am sort of looking at here. Hopefully we can see a foot race between Xavier Savage and Lofiana Khan-Pereira. Keep in mind, 2 weeks ago, Savage had a really poor performance, and he came back and really showed what he was all about. Loffy, he's been poor this season. If he can come into this game and really show what he's all about, that'd be great to see as well. But we'll move into our bets for this game. Apologies to Tigers and Dragons fans if I spent a little bit longer on this game. It's nothing against your teams. It's just maybe I had a little bit more to say in terms of the news of these sides. But my bets for this game, the multi I have is I've got the Canberra Raiders head-to-head as my first leg of the multi. I then have Chevy Stewart to score in his NRL debut, so an anytime try scorer for Chevy Stewart. And I do have Harley Smith-Shields as an anytime try scorer. I did place that bet while he was on the wing, though, so not my favourite. I'd probably prefer to go for Alofiana Khan-Pereira or Jojo Fafita in that instance, but hopefully Harley Smith-Shields can cross the line and win me this bet. So once again, that is Canberra Raiders head-to-head, Chevy Stewart anytime try scorer, Harley Smith-Shields anytime try scorer for a multi of $10.50. So if I put $1 on that and it gets up, I win $10.50 back to that dollar. But that one will wrap us up for the Sunday previews. As I said, trying to make these ones a bit more short and snappy. Let's not dawdle along too long. Let's not just waffle. Let's just get straight to the point and talk about some footy. So thank you guys for tuning into this one, and I'll see you guys next time.